Let's take you back to 550 BC when the Persian Empire began.
The ancient Achaemenids.
Achaemenid.
The art of the ancient Achaemenids consists of painting, architecture, and goldsmithing. Essentials of Persian art and architecture are its nature.
What a beautiful flower.
Combining elements of Median, Assyrian, and Ascetic Greek style. In the Persian Empire, they made beautiful pieces of artwork using gold and silver. They established progressive skills in the metalworking area. Early recovery of Persian art occurred during the Achaemenid dynasty era of the Persian Empire. This was under the influence of Greek and Egyptian art. Persian art is still present today in our society, as we have a lot of Persian people in our country today.
Achaemenid, also known as the Persian Empire, was famous for its strong leadership and government. The empire during the time of the Achaemenid period was Cyrus the Great.
I'm Cyrus the Great. I lead with tolerance.
He was known as father to his people and king of kings. In this military force, the Persian Empire grew larger than any other empire at the time, including the Greek and the Roman Empire. Though he conquered many people using his tactic of tolerance, he allowed each person to still practice their same culture and religion and keep their same social status. Though you have been captured, you are still allowed to practice your religion from your previous country and keep your social status thanks to our great King Cyrus the Great.
Thank you.
Meaning if they were priests in their last country, they would continue to be a priest in the empire. The Persian Empire was separated into provinces, having an individual leader for each separate province. The king chose an administrator for each province known as the satrapies, and as well a governor general who is known as the satrap. One thing that Cyrus was praised for by his people and by other people was when he freed the Jews from the Babylonians. That's just a fun fact. Through the fact that Cyrus led with tolerance, equality, and strong beliefs, the empire was very successful, so it showed that his ways of ruling worked very well. This resulted in a great legacy for Cyrus, and people still talk about his emperor to this day.
The ceremonial capital of the Persian Empire was the Persepolis. Persepolis means Greek city in English. This was a very beautiful building they used for ceremonies. The Persepolis was a wide, elevated complex, about 40 feet high, 100 feet wide, and a third of a mile long, which was very The entire hall of the Persepolis was demolished in 331 BC. Alexander the Great attacked the Persepolis in 331 BC with his army. Alexander did this because he was not yet the ruler of the Persian Empire, and it was too risky to leave the treasures behind. After 2,000 years of its annihilation, it was generally ignored. The tradition that the Persian Empire celebrated was called Nowruz. It was pretty much like our New Year, except it was Persian New Year. It was called Persian New Year. Nobody actually knows for sure if it was celebrated through the Persian Empire, but everyone believes it was because there's no other way that it could have started. At the banquets, the Persians usually drank to get really drunk so they could tell all their problems and make big decisions for their future. They also listened to Persian music after all the eating and drinking was done, and they would dance to it.
Ask!
Should I marry my daughter to the king's son?
Yes!
What? To get the food for the banquets, the Persians would usually hunt and fish. This wasn't a very important source of food that mainly only rich Persians got the opportunity to do.
The Persian Empire class system was based around one emperor who ruled all. The class system follows a specific order, going empire, kings, priests, military, traders, craftsmen, and farmers. During the time of Cyrus's ruling, where conquering was very important, he let each individual from their countries keep their social ranking, which was just adding to their already made classes. People of the Persian Empire were simply born into their rankings, and it was very difficult and almost unheard of for anyone to switch rankings, such as if you were in a wealthy family, you'd be born to be a king. but if you were like in a priest, like if your dad was a priest, you would end up being a priest. Slaves were not very common in the Persian Empire because in their religion, Zoroastrianism, they didn't believe in having slaves, though people who like resisted being conquered or were slaves from other countries sometimes did remain slaves.
The people in the Persian Empire were very serious about ceremonies and traditional beliefs.
Women in the empire were treated with honor and respect and were said to be the roots of their culture. Men and women were considered equals and were given positions based on their strength, not their gender. Having a wife was important in the empire, and divorce was almost unheard of. Some marriages were to cousins or other relatives to keep the position in the family, such as if you're a rich, wealthy family, you're not going to marry someone out of your family who is poor. Overall, the empire had a very strong and well-ordered society with lots of tolerance and equality. The Persian Empire is one of the first peoples to introduce a monotheistic religion. A monotheistic religion is where you only believe in one god. Believed in a god, Ahura Mazda, and was called Zoroastrianism. Ahura Mazda, which means wise man, they thought he was all-knowing, always present, and was the source of all happiness and goodness. Religion began through the teaching of the prophet Zoroaster, who first brought the idea of the religion to the empire. Zoroastrianism is a dualistic religion, meaning they believe it's a constant struggle between good and evil. Good is represented by Ahura Mazda, and evil is represented by Ahariam.
The Persian Empire invented many things, including the alphabet, the coin system, and the quadrant. The first authoritative language of the Persian Empire was what we call in English Old Persian. Old Persian written language was usually called the cuneiform, if anyone's ever heard of that before. Cuneiform is still the word's earliest writing system today. So back in the ancient times, that's what they used for writing and speaking to each other. In the cuneiform, symbols were built by compelling triangular rods to make letters and shapes. And this was built from clay. Cuneiform is very significant today and was very significant in ancient times because there was no writing system or the exact same to the cuneiform. The cuneiform was really significant and very important to society.
It was a very advanced writing system.
Exactly. First Persian coinage was credited to Darius I. He announced gold coins, which became very famous shortly after he announced them to the world. These coins were called darics. Everybody wanted these coins because they were fully made of gold and very expensive. Another technology/innovation would be the quadrant system. It was a water supply system which is still used in regions of the world today. With the arid regions of Iran, agriculture and long-lasting agreements are supported by the ancient quadrant system. This technology of the quadrant was developed in the Persian Empire sometime early around the first millennium BC. So we don't know for sure, but it was around that time. What are quadrants? Quadrants are underground tunnels with a canal in the floor of the tunnels, which carries water to the people who need it. This is very important for farmers for like growing crops and stuff, so the farmers usually used this technology the most. One of the most noticeable innovations still today of the Persian Empire was the time that men and women were allowed equal rights, which is not like in Iran today. In Iran today, women have to wear headdresses. They're like owned by their husband, and it's really awful for them. Ancient Persians were also the first people to overthrow slavery and write a Bill of Rights for human and animals. Women in ancient Persia were allowed basic rights, the right to freedom, just stuff like that. They enjoyed social and legal freedom and were treated with lots and lots of respect, which was very good because it's not like that today. Again, like I was saying, in ancient Persia, men and women were equally praised for their good deeds. So if a man did something and a woman did the same thing, they'd be treated exactly equally. Women could take the throne if the king died or the prince or the follow-up person was a minor. So women could take the throne at any time. You are now the empress of the accumulated people. Bow for the empress. After the Ionian Revolt of 499 BC, the Persian Empire wanted to conquer Greece and own more land. The Persians attacked Greece by sea. They started from Ionia and tried to conquer the Athens. The ancient Persians and the Athenians hated each other because the Athenians took over Anatolia during the Ionian Revolt. Fighting between Greece and Persia almost went over for a century, which was a very long time. The most harsh fight between the Greeks and the Persians were when Persia launched against mainland Greece between 490 and 479 BC. The Persians were defeated by the Athenians, so they did not win, at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. Revolt was a series of results from the people of Ionia against the Persian Empire. This began in 499 BCE. The Ionians were mainly accompanied by the Athenians and the Eritreans. This involvement marked the first conflict between the Greeks and the Persians. This was called a Greco-Persian War.
So Olivia, what do you think of the Persian Empire?
I think the Persian Empire was very significant because for all these reasons that men and women were treated equally, which was a very big pro, because like I said, it's not like that today. Also, Cyrus the Great was a very good leader.
I think Cyrus was a really good leader because he led with a lot of tolerance and let everyone practice their same religion, which never really happened in that time, as well as the fact that he saved the Jews from the Babylonians, even though they had a different religion, but he still rescued them, which I thought was really cool. And also all the technology advances that they had and the things that we still see today is super cool, and just how much freedom everyone had in that time.
Thank you!